What have we got here? Is that an Udi I see?
It is so bloody cold and I can't warm up. So it's an woody or nothing at the moment and a cold and not a cold hot cup of tea.
I'm on the T too.
Oh,
What? What are the odds we'd both change to tea without telling each
yeah.
other?
Well, coffee doesn't make me normally want to go to sleep usually, but I can't take that chance at the moment because I'm up at 5:45 every morning at the moment. So I need something to help me sleep.
What do they call that? The crack of a sparrow's fart.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you get up and kiss the crack of dawn?
I do, yeah. Just a whole bunch of crack kissing.
How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm pepped up this week. I wasn't pepped up last week.
You weren't pepped up. You're pepped up this week, though.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep. So what do you want to talk about?
I don't have any slash points at the moment. I was going to talk about the Jackass movie again because, and I'm only going to talk about it again because I saw a trailer for the movie itself and I hadn't seen a trailer before. And if you remember how we were talking last week about how I just can't do poo, um, yeah, the trailer was for a shit cannon, and they shot it straight at Steve-O's face. And I said, "Oh well, I guess I know what I'm getting into then."
Sure do. And the funny thing is that when we were talking about that last week, I had seen the trailer.
Oh no! So you were just trying to be nice and hide that from me,
I actually think I said the trailer looks great.
bastard.
Bastard. There's lots of things this week that we can talk about.
Yeah, go for it because I don't have a whole lot of slash points.
Well, I made that mistake last week. I called them slash points when they should have been dash points.
Dash points. I like slash points better.
Same. It's crooked. It's a bit like us. Like,
A little bit off.
yeah.
Lovable, but a little bit off.
Ghostbusters trailer's pretty good. Did you watch that?
Yes. I don't like I'm feeling good about it because it's giving me Stranger Things vibes. And I don't know if that's just because it's got the kid out of Stranger Things, but
You should be excited about it. It looks fantastic.
it does.
Yeah, and like for the first time, I mean, a lot of us geeks have been excited already, but this trailer puts it in that universe, like it connects it for us, so we actually can see there's a tangible join-in point for fans. Whereas the Paul Feig one that came along, many argue was terrible, didn't have that connection. So this is good.
How did you feel about that as the sequel master?
Of what, the Paul Feig one?
Yeah.
Well, that was a reboot, so I didn't like that at all.
Oh, okay.
But
Fair enough.
forget that. Forget that. Like the fact that it was shit is why I didn't like it.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't great.
No, no.
And the thing is, I find it hard to hate anything that Kristen Wiig is in. But yeah, no, I didn't love that one.
The funny thing is, I think individually most of the characters are good. Like they have their own place and they kind of work in their own little way, but put them all together and it's just clunky. And they were going for the laughs as opposed to the story.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. They were trying to make a bridesmaids in the sci-fi version and
Yeah.
try and bring in that crowd, and it just kind of fell flat, didn't work.
Yep. So anyway, it does look good. It's got a lot of throwbacks, but it's also it sort of looks like it creates a whole new texture and sort of aesthetic, which is really exciting.
It does. It looks good. I'm definitely excited to see that one.
Okay. Favorite gingers.
Favorite.
Gingers.
Apart from Cameron Ling, we've obviously got Rupert Grint. He's just sweet and lovable. Who else have we got? We've got Sam Heughan. Do you know who that is? You don't know who that is. Oh my gosh, have I got something on you? Outlander.
I do know who that is. Yes,
Yeah.
I have watched every episode of that. Not by choice.
You're a one lucky guy.
Because last week you mentioned that you love Rangers, so I thought
I do.
let's do it.
I really do. I have a soft spot for them. I have
Or
a person at my work at the moment, and they're quite a young person, and they're a ginger, and I'm kind of gravitating towards them. Just I want to play with his hair a little bit.
does he listen to the show?
No, let's hope he doesn't. I won't name him.
That's hilarious to me. I interviewed a ginger on the show this week.
It's funny how you think of them like
James.
as a race. Like I interviewed a ginger.
They're a minority.
Yeah. And how did that go?
Fantastic. It's a great interview. Everyone that's watching, let's give some context to the newbies. We're 3 episodes in, and there's probably new people listening or watching. We have a podcast on Monday called Good Movie Monday. Go back and have a listen.
Yes.
You are caught up. You're welcome.
We are Glenn and Chloe. I'm an Inuti. We drink tea.
And I'm not. But apparently I sound like Mac. Who do I sound like? Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking without a voice box. Well,
which
if Stephen Hawking's computer voice had a voice box because it smoked too much, that's what you sound like.
Apparently, Chloe's having audio issues.
Yeah. Oh, really? Technical issues? Me? No.
All right. So we've talked about Ghostbusters. What was the other one? Do you like Predator?
I've seen the Arnie one, the original. That was a way, way long time ago. So, but I did read something today about a prequel.
Yes. It's called Skull, and it's apparently mostly shot already. They really snuck that one under the radar.
Oh.
That's exciting for, fanboys like me.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You getting into it?
Yeah. I like the Predator movies. The most recent one was not very good, but all the other ones are pretty fun. So this will be the 5th one. Not including the crossovers with Alien versus Predator.
Do all the Predators have Arnie in them?
No, just the first one.
Oh.
And then the second one moves into a dystopian future, a future that's like 1992 or something like that. Like it's been and gone, and we're living in a really shitty time. And it's Gary Busey, Danny Glover. I can't remember who else, but it's good. It's one of those really weird futures that never came to be kind of movies.
Right. Yeah. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and then the third one was Robert Rodriguez wrote and produced, the guy that made Sin City and Spy Kids and all that.
Yep.
And that took place on the Predator's planet, home planet. And then the fourth one, which was released only like 2 years ago, was directed by Shane Black, the guy that wrote the Lethal Weapon movies and a bunch of other stuff. And that was not very good. That was sort of a military experiment kind of movie where they make a giant hybrid predator.
Oh, so it did the thing that I hate, which is where you go from like Arnie, where Predator would have been, mostly a person dressed up in that big costume, not a lot of CGI, all special, like physical special effects, to you would have gone to pretty much all CGI.
No. Every single one of them, it's been the exact same Predator. Like it's been, someone in a suit, with all the things on their arms. It's always been that.
Okay, well, that's fine. I can appreciate that then, because the thing that I hate the most is when they take something pure like that and they completely CGI it and just...
Well, how did you feel about the first 2 Harry Potters and then the jump to Harry Potter 3 when it went from CGI to practical?
As in like having the castle as CGI and all that kind of stuff.
All the Quidditch stuff and...
Yeah, so number 3 is my favorite Harry Potter. So, I mean, that's got to count for, it's got to count for something. Not only the storyline, but the effects in that, I think were just, they blew my mind when that came out. So it's always stuck with me.
It was kind of jarring. Like it was a real juxtaposition, but wasn't that the one too where Michael Gambon took over
Yes.
Dumbledore. Yeah, so kind of everything changed in that one.
Yeah, it got a whole new tone to it. The thing I love about that series is that each movie has its own specific tone to it, and you can see the differences, and it's kind of like taking on its own world within each movie.
Yep.
I love that. I love it so much. We could talk about this for hours, but I've recently got my 5-year-old onto Harry Potter, and it's like it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, apart from giving birth to him. And he just constantly asks to watch to Harry Potter, and we've just gotten up to number 3. And like you were saying, how getting them used to horror tones when they're younger, but in a safer environment, and just letting them know that it's not real, but it's really cool to watch. That's kind of what we've been doing with Harry Potter. You've got like the werewolves, the Dementors, all that kind of stuff. So that kind of I made that connection with what you'd been saying, and it all just made sense. And you're completely
Cool.
You're completely right.
I'm glad that's how you sort of doing it. Like it's the right way. I think it's the right way to do it. Interesting. Ben and I last week saw Jungle Cruise. And it's really good.
Is it really?
Yes, it's really good. In fact, we did a reaction video, which I think it went up last night. So, yes. And I tell you what, it's kind of like it's a lot scarier and more violent than we anticipated it to be.
Right.
So it's an M-rated Disney film. It's like a real strange cross between The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser one, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Indiana Jones for sure, and it's got lots of gory effects, like rotten corpses and stuff. Yes, and lots of snakes and lots of I don't want to embarrass him, but Ben jumped out of his seat twice, so that's a good thing. He does that though. He does that. He jumps out of his seat like he just doesn't matter. Could be fucking ladies in lavender, and he would jump out of his seat.
This sounds like it's going to be my movie. I need to know, how was Jack Whitehall?
He was good. You know what? He was interesting because he played like the John Hannah character from The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
The Marcus Brody character from Indiana Jones.
Yep.
So he provided a different kind of comedy than what you might expect, because the comedy is actually mostly Dwayne Johnson. Like he provides most of the comedy. And as I said to Ben on the video, I went into it not thinking The Rock was suited for this. I'm like, I don't know how I can watch him throughout this whole film. But he just grabs it by the balls and goes for it. He's really good.
That's the thing about him. He's really fucking annoying in the way that, you see him, he's in everything, but he almost never doesn't nail it. He always hits the mark. It's really frustrating. It's like, I mean, how talented can you be? Just like, fuck up.
It's so... Because I never like looking at him to begin with. Like, I'm like, it looks like a sack of walnuts, and I'm just like, I'm just not, interested in watching this. But I tell you what, he was good. He got the little nuances down pat. It's good.
That's good. I'm excited to go watch that. This has been like the one movie that I've been excited to watch. I saw this trailer so long ago. I want to say back when that second installment of the new Jumanji sort of series came out. That's when I sort of saw that first trailer, and that got me kind of excited about it. And I've been like looking for it ever since. So I'm pretty pumped to actually go see this one. And now that you've said Pirates of the Caribbean and the Mummy, I'm sold, dude. Sold.
Cool. Well, let me know what you think when you watch it.
I will. There's one thing I'm good at giving opinions.
Do you have any more / points?
Yeah. Do I have any more?
Yeah.
Not on my phone at the moment, but I have been thinking a lot about because of my segment on the podcast this week. I talked about my favorite writer / director, which is one of my favorites, which is Tarantino. And I know that you're kind of gonna love him or hate him type thing. Where do you stand on something like Quentin?
Oh my goodness. That's an interesting one because my relationship with him goes way back.
Tell me all about it.
Oh well, I was a fan when he hit the ground. Like when he came out, I was on board 110%. So Reservoir Dogs from that moment. Back in those days too, sometimes I would sneak into cinemas to watch R-rated films and things like that. I had a local cinema that was easy to sneak into. Reservoir Dogs I didn't, but Natural Born Killers I did. But with Reservoir Dogs, I did get suspended from high school for peddling bootleg copies of it.
That's fucking brilliant. That's so great.
And the hilarious part of that is that the principal said that the only way I could get my copies back is if I gave him one. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
You want that kind of guy running the school. That's who you want running the school.
And then, like, obviously Pulp Fiction, I was obsessed with him back then, and I had books about him. I knew his entire story. I knew about his ghostwriting when he wrote for other films that he wasn't credited on. Stuff like Crimson Tide and It's Pat and things like that. And then I was on board for Jackie Brown. Took my parents to see that one in Canada. I was on board for Kill Bills, Death Proof, and then when he started doing the period pieces with the Django and before that Inglourious Bastards and Django, I started to lose interest. But
I knew that's where you'd be going.
Yeah, I like Inglourious Bastards a lot. Django I can take or leave, and then after that, I mean the last one he did, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, was a masterpiece. That was exquisite. But those few before it haven't got a lot of time for.
Fair enough. I've probably seen Django Unchained probably like maybe 6, 7, 8 times.
There's more love than hate for him from me though.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
My first ever exposure to Quentin or Tarantino film was when my dad watched Kill Bill. And I walked in, I was basically at the beginning of the movie, and I sat down, and my dad introduced me to quite a lot of movies and TV shows that I've fallen in love with over the years and have become my sort of like safety sort of movies and shows. And Kill Bill is one of those. I can sit down, I can watch that any day of the week, and I would be happy and content watching that movie. It's perfect.
See, this is the interesting thing, actually, which I haven't thought about until you said that, is a lot of people like yourself come into the Tarantino verse halfway through. So you're already in that Hollywood phase, you're into the heightened fantasy phase, whereas people like myself came on board from the independent, low-budget days of Reservoir Dogs, where it was very simple and just the premise was straightforward.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people like me, those first 3 films were very seminal, and because they all kind of felt thematically themed in a way. It was almost like an unwritten trilogy. But then it got fantastical. You knew what he was doing because he's already declared his love for Hollywood movies of the past, and he's trying to emulate all that kind of stuff, which he did in the early ones, just differently. But yeah, so your entry point's different, and that's probably explains why you like those latter ones.
Yeah, I think so. I think because I started like halfway through, and then I watched Inglourious Bastard, I watched Django, etc. And then I went back and did Reservoir Dogs, and I'd only watched I reckon I only watched Reservoir Dogs maybe late last year, early this year for the first time.
I love it. Everything about it.
I wanted to watch it again after I finished watching it. That's how much I loved it.
What I should do, I should go deep into my videotape archives, because I reenacted Reservoir Dogs on video camera with my 2 little brothers at the time. So this is back when I was sort of starting to get into the film school phase. I was sort of 17, I think I was 17, and I got my little brothers in the garage. I put one of them in a chair and taped him down, and got the other one to dance around him in a suit with a knife, right? And I was playing the song in the background, and I was on a swivel chair, like shimmying around the floor, like as a dolly camera, and I was going around them. And
I love that. That's amazing.
And I got the close up of my brother hacking his ear off. Tarantino didn't show it, but I did.
Yeah.
And so
you had to outdo him.
My brother had like a dried apricot, and he's like, pulling it off.
How did you not turn into an actual filmmaker? I'm wondering, because
That's a whole other story.
Oh, well, we'll have to get into that another time, but that's
maybe
brilliant.
not. Yep. Yeah, so I need to find that footage. That'd be great to put up online.
That would be great. I would love to see that.
Okay, well, that's a good one. I can't connect anything I've got with Tarantino.
Oh, sorry.
No. I don't need a segue. But
That's me to find the obscure.
I'm trying to be clever, and I've just got nothing. What about actually, kind of Tarantino connected. Do you like the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix film?
The Joaquin Phoenix one? Not so much.
Oh, okay.
It was a bit too heavy for me. I'm not. This sounds so stupid because movies are supposed to make you feel emotions and you're supposed to feel emotions throughout the movie. I don't particularly like feeling emotions when I watch a movie. I like to laugh and I like to feel happy. I don't like...
That's an emotion.
That's the only emotion I like. If I feel like something's going to bring me down and bum me out and make me cry, I'll avoid that movie.
That's so fascinating. I'm the opposite. Like I crave an emotional reaction. So if I watch something like, say, Terms of Endearment, and I'm bawling my eyes out at the end, I come away from it going, fucking A, that movie hit me. Like that movie got me.
Yeah.
And I love that. And anyway, the Joker, I don't know how I'm tying that to Terms of Endearment.
What a triangle.
But they've just announced that number 2 that's coming is going to actually reveal the real Joker that's connected to the DC verse. So Joaquin Phoenix is not the Joker that we know.
Right.
He's like a prototype. He's like an influence on the real Joker.
Sure. Yep. So like this person will be a copycat of the Joaquin Phoenix type thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Because the Joker, the movie, is basically a remake of King of Comedy, which is a Martin Scorsese film. So there was a lot of criticism when it came out from a lot of filmies just because there was nothing original about it.
Right.
But performance is great, though.
The performance is amazing. You can't deny him that. He's fantastic in it. The storyline just... He freaked me out. He freaked me out. I think that was the point. That's exactly what he was supposed to do, and it worked, and I didn't like it. So, but that's just me. That's just not my type of movie.
Fair enough. Hey, do you like do you prefer muffins, cupcakes, or donuts?
What type of muffin?
A muffin of your choice.
If I get to choose, I would choose a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut.
Donut is the correct answer. Krispy Kreme is not.
They're so fluffy and so soft, and that glaze is just
That's my problem with them.
Oh, okay, yep. Mine too.
I like it. I like a much denser donut, but donut is like...
Yeah. I mean, I like to bake, and cupcakes are a good thing to bake. And if you get that buttercream right, you can't beat it. But there's just something about a donut.
Yeah, a hot jam donut from the side of the road.
Jam donut. Okay, so where I'm from, right, is a little town on the Bellarine Peninsula, and every summer there used to be this van that used to park down on the waterfront. There'd be a fair that would go on, and it was a hot jam donut van. And I shit you not, is the best hot jam donuts you will ever eat in your entire life. Challenge me on it, and I will prove you wrong.
Okay, well, everybody feels very protective of their local, you know.
I'll fight you.
I would argue, and we could do the taste test. We could road trip this. We could actually make an event, and we could podcast this taste test, because we will do that down the Bellarine Peninsula, and then we can trek out maybe the next week and do the Yarra Glen Sunday Market, because they do hot jam donuts where you watch them put the dough into the oil, then they get the bottle of sauce or the jam.
Do that again.
Is it as good as this? From last week? Bloody hell.
Sorry, had to. I'm down for that. If you're talking about road tripping to eat donuts, I'm not going to say no. So
yeah, no, we'll tentatively lock that in.
Done.
Yep. Fantastic. And we'll make it like, we've got to tie it into movies somehow, so we'll pretend it's like, I don't know, what's a road trip movie? Road Trip. It's Road Trip meets Chef.
Love Road Trip.
Yep.
I'll be DJ Quells.
Oh my God. Are you going to smear peanut butter?
Yeah. Didn't ask for icing sugar on my French toast. So brilliant.
It is a great film.
Do you ever talk to somebody who's maybe not as finesse in movies as you are, and you just start like spitting out random quotes and they just look at you with blank eyes and they have absolutely zero idea what you're talking about?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. See, I do it quite a lot. People do find me strange, and my husband used to find me strange. And then today he did that at his work and they started looking at him strange. And I'm like, now you know how I feel.
What did he quote?
Scotty doesn't know from Euro Trip, which is what triggered that memory. So, and he said, Scotty doesn't know, so don't tell Scotty. And everyone was like, okay.
Man, what a flashback that is.
That's a brilliant movie too.
I won't go that far. That's a strong word.
But it's that movie that you can put on and you know you're gonna laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Boat Trip?
I haven't seen that one. I didn't know there was a boat trip. No? Okay. I'll avoid that one.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr. did a movie called Boat Trip, and it's fucking awful.
Oh.
There was it was just one of those trip movies. There were trip movies back then.
Yeah. Like scary movies, like trip movies. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned to me, I think, just in chat, that you love Dot and the Kangaroo.
Yeah.
How did that come up? How did that come up in conversation?
Because you mentioned it on the podcast
Yes.
a week or two ago.
Yeah.
When we did the toy line movies.
I was talking about the Raggedy Ann movie being animated and live action.
Exactly. So I've been obsessed with movies from the very beginning, and Dot and the Kangaroo was one of my very, 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 very first obsessions. And I used to be obsessed with the song that the platypus sung, and Glutamus Maximus. I can't remember how it goes, but I was obsessed with it. And at the very end, when the kangaroo, spoiler alert, the kangaroo hops away and Dot's like, kangaroo, I would be bawling my eyes out. And my aunt would think that was just the funniest thing in the world. So she would rewind the VCR. And I'm like 2-3 years old. She would rewind the VCR just to watch me cry all over again. She'd do it multiple times, and it was cruel, and I'm traumatized from it. But it's still one of my favorite movies. It was just brilliant.
That's a very Winnie the Pooh moment. You know,
yes.
when Christopher Robin and Pooh part ways.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
I can't handle the emotions. I just can't do it.
I love it.
Maybe it all stems back from that point, and I need to kind of work through my issues.
Yeah, there was something, I can't remember the number. I think it's 8 or 9 Dot movies.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, and she ends up, the final one, it's Dot in space.
Yeah.
But the first handful of them, they're all directed by the same guy, Joris Globin, and the character itself, the same amount of charm is all the way through it, and her friends. But the first 4 are all live action and animation together, like the original.
Yes.
And then the other ones, when it moved away from theatrical to video, direct to video, then they were just animated.
Right.
But they were pretty fun. Like if you're a kid and you're into Dot, you don't care about the animation and live action crossing over. So.
Well, I think you told me that I might be able to find them on YouTube. So I think I'm going to be putting that on. Like, we've had a pretty hectic week this week in this house, so I think we need to chill out with some good movies this weekend, and I'm going to whack that one on and see what the kids think of that one.
Sounds perfect. Sounds perfect.
Might do a live reaction and see how disappointed I am that they don't like it.
Yeah. Why don't
Just
you love
shatter
this
my
movie? This movie from the early 70s that, looks rickety and old and doesn't hold up, against today's films. But, how do you feel about it?
Was it early 70s, that movie?
I think so. Let's have a look. I think it was pretty around then. Let's have a look. Dot and... We don't edit these videos, so you're just going to have to wait for my phone to load.
Yeah, that's okay. Hold music. Dun, 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 dun.
My phone does not want to load. Okay. Whatever. It's not loading, so I don't know.
Technical issues all round this afternoon.
I know. It's something to do with your audio, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all my fault.
Mm.
Definitely.
It's a good way to bring the video to an end. We're about out of time.
I'm going to see 1977.
There you go. Late 70s.
Late 70s. That's crazy. I didn't even know it was that old.
There you go. It's funny when you're a kid, it doesn't matter how old films are. Kids now still love The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I know. I haven't even introduced my kids to that one yet. I'm not sure if they're ready.
Yeah, they're ready.
You reckon?
Yes.
Yes. 5, 3, and 2?
3 and 5, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a whole weekend, so
it's just. I mean, they'll be challenged. Like this is that horror thing that I was talking about. They'll be challenged by the monkeys. They'll be
the
challenged
monkeys
by
and the witch. Yep.
The witch for sure. And you just have to gauge it. Just gauge it.
Yeah.
They'll love the munchkins and
see how we go.
Do you know my girls at home laugh at me? My wife and my daughter, because I'm a short guy, and if I need to reach the top shelf, sometimes I need to get tongs, and I'll sing "You're with the little people now."
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Yes,
I like them. They're good people. They're good people.
Yes, I think so too. Oh man! All right, well, about out of time.
Oh man, it goes so quickly.
It really does. I mean, it's up to you. We can turn it into an hour, but I think 30 minutes is pretty good.
I might need some more slash points if we're going to turn it into an hour.
Yeah. Not that we put a lot of prep into this, but that does up the game a little bit. If we go an hour, so half an hour's good.
Yeah, half an hour is good. I think we're good.
You can't hold the audience for that long. You can't. I can.
Yeah. And I need another cup of tea because I'm all done now.
Oh, me too. Next week I must bring my Good Movie Monday mug back.
Traitor.
I've got so many mugs. Like it's just depends which one.
Well, you got to rotate through them. Actually, it might be interesting to see which one you pick for the next week. So that might be a fun little game.
Okay. It's a pretty shit game, but all right.
Thanks.
Well, have a great week.
I will. You too.
I will, and see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Happy dance out.